video games just aren't as fun as I used to remember anymore. In fact, there was even a point in time where I almost quit playing video games altogether. Well, today's video is about that journey, about my relationship with video games throughout the years. Hey, what's up you guys? I'm the nerdy one and I absolutely love freaking video games. Now, I have been a gamer all my life and gaming has really played a vital role in every single stage of my life. So I really want to share what gaming meant to me because I came across this really interesting epiphany recently that I cannot wait to share with you guys. So this big epiphany was that I may not ever enjoy playing video games as much as I did as a kid again. I know, a really depressing thought. Just think back of the days when you were a kid, curled up in the couch, really playing video games without a care in the world. Those were really the days where video games were just everything to you. I remember hiding under the blankets with my Game Boy playing Pokemon and I would get absolutely lost in this game. And really looking back at it, Pokemon was really a really basic video game. There wasn't really a lot going on, but it meant the world to me. In fact, I remember there was once where my sister accidentally deleted my save file and little old Christian actually cried a few tears having that whole save file deleted. I know some of you out there know what I mean. But the fact of the matter is that when you were a kid playing video games, you weren't really trying to compare it with anything else. When you were playing the video game, all your focus was on the video game itself. You weren't really thinking of the graphics, if there was going to be a better video game. And adding on to that, as you grew up, you gained more responsibilities. You had to pay rent, you had to work, you had to take care of your relationships, take care of yourself. Back then, I guess I would just play video games and my parents would just bring on chicken nuggets, some pizza rolls. It was the best. And that's what I'm talking about, as you grew up, the fun in video games started to actually go down. And I think that's a very sad thing that I have come to actually accept in my life. But before I came across this realization, I was constantly pushing it, trying to play as much video games as I can to actually gain that high, actually feel that fun again that I did. In fact, in college, I played a ton of Dota 2. This was a really fun video game, really competitive, that I was absolutely addicted to. Seriously, I was addicted to it. I would play all the way to 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning and actually had to rush finishing my homework for college. Yes, it was that bad. And while I was playing this, I started to realize that I wasn't playing so much for fun anymore. I was just playing simply to play. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but I didn't really see it at the time. I thought I was having fun, but all I really figured out was that this was a routine, this was something I was good at, and I was just kind of playing it because it was right there in front of me. And because of this, because of how much time I actually spent playing the video game, but I did not really have as much fun, I started to battle this whole problem of video game addiction. Now, this was a tough time in my life where I would constantly go through these cycles where I would delete the video game and then re-download the video game, delete the video game, re-download the video game, and I would feel guilty each time playing it. But the moment I actually started playing it again, I just couldn't stop. And this was really tough for me because video games weren't fun anymore. It was simply a way to actually steal as much time as it can. And being a college kid, I had so many responsibilities. I had to work a part-time job to pay rent, I had to go to college, finish all my stuff, I had to take care of myself. All these different things piled onto it as I grew more and more frustrated. More frustrated that playing video games was more like an errand anymore, that I wasn't really having fun playing video games anymore. I finally found a little pivot. I found this light at the end of the tunnel, which came in the form of a video game, which was called Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, if this is the first time that you're hearing about this video game, I highly recommend you guys check it out. There's even a sequel called Ori and the 𝗰𝗵𝘆𝗶𝗀𝘀 that I recommend you guys check out. And this video game actually changed my whole perspective on video games. Well, Ori and the Blind Forest was this platformer of a video game, but what made it so magical was that the art, the story, it was just amazing. I didn't realize that video games can be so engaging, actually suck you and immerse you into the role and have you be so attached to the characters. Now, if you are enjoying the video up to this point, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more nerdy content, and let's get back into the video. And that was when I got so obsessed to find the video games that were unique, that really stood out to give me that feeling that I did playing Ori and the Blind Forest. So since then, I've played plenty of video games such as God of War, Enter the Gungeon, Hollow Knight, Uncharted. These video games were absolutely amazing and they really stood out, and I could just go on and on with the list. But that was really what brought the fun back to me. And because I was having fun again, my relationship with video games started to improve. I started to enjoy my time playing video games more, and I wasn't so obsessed with playing all the time. I simply wanted to immerse myself in these video games and enjoy the art, enjoy the story, have a lot of fun in them, and I can kind of put it aside and go about my day. So this was really a huge pivot, a huge change in my relationship with video games. And I think this drive to find the best video games is why I feel so strongly about the state of how gaming is currently at right now. So in my opinion, I think that games right now, there is a current narrative where the creativity in video games are currently being restricted because of monetary financial reasons. And this all started because of the boom of Fortnite. Fortnite was an absolute phenomenon. It went viral, kids were playing it, people were talking about it all the time. Even I myself had so much fun playing Fortnite with my buddies. And the thing that made Fortnite so interesting was that it was completely free to play. And the way they actually made money was through microtransactions. And this was really the time that companies started to realize like, hey, there is a lot of money to be made in video games. And that was really the start of where games started to slowly pivot to have this free-to-play model but add a lot of microtransactions in the video game, and that was where all the problems started to emerge. You see, as companies started to realize that they can give you the game for free to hook you onto it and then started selling all these different microtransactions to you, it became the norm for many games to actually copy Fortnite models, and that is why you see tons of battle royales coming out. They are free to play, however once you're in the game, they're constantly trying to push you battle passes, different skins, different weapons, just to have you to spend a few bucks in it, and before you realize it, you have played way more than a full price video game. And while I think this is fine, I mean, you're getting the game for free, why not just buy a few skins? Companies have taken this to the extreme because they have realized that it is more profitable to just copy and paste the same model across different video games compared to taking the risk of actually being creative to create a whole new video game, a new experience for you to try out. Just take a look at it. While I'm not hating on the video game, I mean the latest Call of Duty coming out right now, it is not really any different from the other 3 or 4 different Call of Duties before it. And each new Call of Duty, guess what? They have a whole new chance to sell you new microtransactions, and people just eat it up. So as long as there are gamers willing to pay this money for this whole model, there isn't really an incentive for all these gaming companies to actually take the risk to develop more innovative types of video games. And this is what really frustrates me. It frustrates me that the gaming companies, these really huge gaming companies such as Activision and Blizzard, with all the talent that they have, they could create some amazing stuff, but because they're so focused on pleasing the investors, the VCs, they're just putting the same game, copy and pasting it, and it's getting so boring and so dry. I am just dying for something new, something fresh to the scene. And that is why I have such a huge love, a huge passion for indie video games as well as blockchain video games. We'll get to that in a little bit. And I do know that gamers are starting to realize this, realize that the gaming companies aren't putting as much effort as they used to into their video games anymore. Gamers are starting to get a little frustrated with this, and I do believe that a change is soon to take place. One of my side missions for starting this channel is to have more people realize this, realize that games can be really innovative, really artistic, with great stories, really creative ideas. However, the creativity is being restricted because of all these money reasons here. So my hope is that more gamers start to realize this and start putting pressure on these gaming companies to start creating those great video games again, because I know that they are capable of it. They're just not really doing it because there's no incentive to do so. And that is why most of my favorite video games come from indie video games. Games such as Hades, Hollow Knight, Ori and the Blind Forest. Maybe I should even do a list of my favorite indie video games sometime in the future. But that really is the point, that games should be creative, should really push the boundaries to create something amazing that gamers can enjoy. And that is my mission, to look for those video games and to introduce them to you. And this whole journey of mine, my passion for video games, have actually led me to this really interesting subset of video games called blockchain video games. Now I have plenty of videos on my channel regarding this topic, so make sure you guys check it out if you're interested. But while blockchain video games is really shunned for their focus on innovating the economics in video games and actually, introducing cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology into it, the game itself, why I'm so excited about it is because there is no more incentive to actually make as much money in these video games anymore, at least if it's built properly. But this is really a time where game developers can test this new tech to actually, change change how gaming will look like, and that is just so exciting for me because that is what games really need. Something innovative, something new, something to be trial and error. The game doesn't have to get it right the first time, but I do appreciate games trying out new ideas to actually push the boundaries of how gaming will look like in the future. So that's about it for the video. Thank you so much for watching and listening to all my nerdy thoughts. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more nerdy content in the future. And if you want to learn more about blockchain video games and where I see the future of gaming heading towards, make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here on the top 5 blockchain video games that I have my eye on. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope to see you guys again very soon, and until the very next one, take care. Peace.